So, on a recent video, I got 2 comments. One comment said, why on earth would anyone save sex for marriage? And the second one was, you should make a video on reasons why living chastely is worth it. Follow me over on Instagram at EMWILSS. These 30 reasons are not my reasons. I polled, once again, the wonderful women at Blessed Is She. This is about 20,000 women that I offered I posed this question to them so that they can respond. These are women from all walks of life, women who are married, women who are unmarried, women who chose to save sex for marriage, women who recommitted to chastity until they were married. Each of these points is the real life experience of a woman who answered this question, and I wanted to share those with you. A few disclaimers. This video is not at all meant to be insensitive to women who have been sexually violated in any way. For those of you who have been here for a long time, you know that women who have experienced those things are always on my heart, always in my prayers, and I made a video where I discussed that thoroughly, and I will link that below. So I want to make that abundantly clear from the get-go. The second thing is that I'll also link my Puppies and Bunnies video, because I know for a fact that I would say, for instance, people who save sex for marriage have good self-discipline, and someone would say, oh, so what? People who don't are not capable of self-discipline at all. Puppies and Bunnies. Watch the video. And lastly, before anyone accuses me of stirring up fear in women, this is not that. Sharing the real life experiences of women, these answers that women gave me, is not based in fear. It's based in their honest and true life experience, what they want young women and young men, because I think you could benefit from this, to know. Obviously, many people do this for a lot of different reasons, and some of those reasons are religious, but I wanted to present these in hopes that it would make sense to people who have these questions, who have never subscribed to faith at all in their lives. Let's get to it. Treating my sexuality with respect helps remind me of my value. Saving sex for marriage makes relationships way less hard when they're already hard enough. The world felt like it was ending after the last relationship I was in ended, and I cannot imagine how much worse that would have been if sex had been involved and complicated my emotions even more. It's an absolutely sure way to know if you're honestly loved by a man or lusted after, because self-sacrifice is the truest form of love. It solidifies that my partner is interested in me, not because he is benefiting physically. Committing to waiting until marriage with my husband was worth it because it mirrors how committed we are to loving each other enough to work on a great sex life within marriage. I have weird dreams about my exes who I had sexual relationships with that I wish would stop. I saved sex for marriage because bonding as a couple in non-sexual ways is essential to a lasting relationship. Shortly after my first wedding anniversary, I ended up in the hospital for 3 months out of town and was very weak for months after that, but my husband was by my side every day. If we depended on sex for bonding, we would not have made it through that time. I have heard too many women worried about whether the guy they are dating is right for them because the sex isn't as good as it was with a past boyfriend who was not good for them at all. Experiencing sex for the first time with your husband, a man who is committed to honoring and loving you for life, is experiencing love at one of its purest forms, giving yourself and receiving the other. My husband and I have no one to compare each other's performance to. I'm perfectly satisfied with him because he's all I know. But if I had other experiences, I'd be aware of differences and distinctions. It's easy to idealize past boyfriends in that time before kids and responsibilities of life. I can't imagine how much harder that would be if there had been sex involved. When you're married, you don't have to worry about getting caught or someone finding out. While it is a private thing, it's not like you're doing something you shouldn't, and there is so much freedom in that. Keeping physical intimacy out of the equation of our dating relationship provided so much clarity in our conversations about the future and our expectations for our relationship. The novelty and excitement of sex starts to wear off eventually in a relationship, and it is easy to get caught up in physical intimacy and not spend enough time really building a relationship. If you do not build non-sexual intimacy, you may struggle when you're a few years into marriage and your sex life isn't all it used to be. I'm a single woman saving sex for marriage because I don't ever want to experience any anxiety wondering about what each new partner thinks. I am not ready to get pregnant. Waiting until marriage made it much easier to let go of the men that broke my heart. I want the possibility of being pregnant to be the most exciting thing that has ever happened to me, and I know I will only feel that in the security of marriage. I am waiting until marriage because I have never met anyone that regretted choosing this way. On the contrary, I have known many people who regret not waiting. Knowing my husband was willing to wait for me filled my heart with such a profound sense of love and security. I have been married for 5 years. We were not chaste while dating and engaged, and I so wish we had been because it would make our marital sex life only a part of our marriage and unity instead of a carryover from our dating life. I wish I had understood back then how much respect we would have been showing to each other, building a foundation of self-denial for the better of your spouse. My husband waited for me for 30 years. So when he was unexpectedly sent to Afghanistan for a year for work 5 months after our wedding, I never once worried about his fidelity. Living chastely respects your future marriage if you're called to it. If a marriage is respected and honored before it exists, imagine how beautifully you will be respected and honored as a spouse. Physical intimacy can be a band-aid for relationship problems, hiding them when they can be a sign that this isn't the right relationship for you. I chose to wait until marriage because it gave me a deep sense of freedom. I never once worried if I had an STD, if I was pregnant, or if my boyfriends only wanted me for sex. I always thought I was saving myself for my future spouse, but when I got married, I realized it was the greatest gift I gave to myself. I had no baggage from past sexual relationships, nothing holding me back from just loving freely. Knowing this would have been so helpful when I was a teenager, since sometimes it can seem like your future spouse is nowhere on the horizon. As a single woman, it has provided me great focus. By not having premarital sex, there's no feel-good distraction from the festering wounds that could one day destroy your relationship. You can focus on dealing with them before they become even bigger problems. Waiting is about saying yes to authentic love and sacrifice, which is a great lesson for success in marriage. Preach. Love and sacrifice will be a choice you have to make every single day, especially after I do. I never want to feel even the slightest doubt that giving all of myself to someone in sex could be a mistake. By waiting until marriage, I know that I won't stay in the wrong relationship for way too long just because I'm bonded to him in this way. I am free to find someone who truly makes my heart feel more alive, not just more comfortable. I never ever wanted to feel the pain of giving all of myself to a man in sex, that relationship or pseudo relationship ending, then seeing him in the future and having him act casual or even ignore me like I don't exist. I wanted to be absolutely sure that the first man I had sex with would still be there the next morning. And I trusted that a man who had made vows to me the day before in front of all of our friends and family would. So there you have it. 30 reasons. Perhaps you are choosing this in your life and you're like, wow, those are reasons to add to my list of reasons. Perhaps you thought people like me who say sex or marriage are crazy. And this gives you a little insight into thinking like, okay, like I can see why someone would choose that. Perhaps your friends don't understand why you would make such a decision. You can send this video to them. Perhaps you're a guy. Oh, the baby's up. Perhaps you're a guy and this video is helpful for you and you want to send it off to your guy friends so that it can be helpful for them too. I don't know who needs this video, but I would love for you to share it with your friends. I hope this gave you a little insight into the answers to these questions, no matter where you are in your life. Subscribe to my channel if you want to join the party. That's all for today. I will talk to you soon. Bye.